Hey guys, it is Coach Elliott here. Today we're going to be going over our run game concept of inside zone. So this play we call inside zone. This play is an inside run play. It is a zone blocking concept. That's why we call it inside zone. Inside run, and we're zone blocking. And what do we mean by zone blocking? We're going to get into that right away. So we can run this out of any formation to start with. It could be 3x1, 2x1, 2x2. It can be any formation. Based on how the running back is lined up is how we call the play. So if I were to do for this, like for this instance, if I call 3x1 left inside zone, this is how we would run it. So what that means is we have our three receivers to the left. 1, 2, 3. We have a receiver to the right, the 3x1. And then our tailback is on the call side, or the left side. So how this works is, so if we call inside zone 3x1, inside zone left, the center sees that and he's going to make a line call. If we run to the right, he's going to name an NFL team. If we are going to run to the left, he's going to name an NFL city. So for instance, just to make it super simple, if we're going to run to the right, like we are in this play, the center would see my signal and he would yell to the offensive line, Raiders. That's an NFL team name, and just to help you guys remember, starts with an R. So that means inside zone to the right. And we'll get into left here in a minute. But how do we block that? So each man in inside zone accounts for his play side gap. Now what do we mean by play side gap? So the space between each of our linemen is a gap. So right here is a gap, right here is a gap, here is a gap, here's a gap, here's a gap, and of course here's a gap. So each of these gaps has a name. So the gaps between the center and the guards are called A gaps. The gaps between the guards and tackles are called B gaps. And the gaps between the tackles and the receivers are called C gaps. So with that, we know on an inside zone right, this right tackle right here, right tackle, he's got the play side C gap. And who is in that gap? That's the defensive end. So what he's going to do is he's going to take 3 steps to his play side gap, 1, 2, 3, and block whoever is there. So he's going to block the play side end. The center has the A gap. If there's no one in this A gap, he is going to combo block with this guard. The center's going A gap, and he's going to combo block with the guard on this defensive tackle, and then the center is going to work his way up after they've taken care of that tackle. And center, our aiming point right here as the second man is we're going to aim for this tackle's hip. We're going to hit that hip with our shoulder pads, and we're going to get him to move out of the way, and then you're going to go get the Mike backer. Left guard, he's moving 3 steps to his play side gap. He's got the nose, because this nose is in the A gap. Now, backside tackle, in this instance, the left tackle. This is a little tricky. You might think, oh, I have the tackle. That is not the case, because we are reading him. This is called a zone read. We are going to read what this end does, and we're going to make him wrong. A lot like we do in our passing plays, we want to make him wrong. So Instead of blocking this end, he's not blocking this end because he's accounting for this B gap. The left tackle, the backside tackle, has the backside B gap. He does not have the C gap. So who is in the B gap? There's no down lineman in the B gap, so he's going to take his 3 steps, and then he's working his way to the linebacker. Now, if this end isn't blocked, what are we going to do? Well, the quarterback is going to account for this end. So notice, if in a 6-man box, if we're running inside zone and we let the quarterback account for that end, everyone is accounted for. We can block everyone in the box. And what does that mean? It means our tailback will have room to run. And that's exactly what we want. So we've gone through how the line blocks this, and I know it's a little confusing, but the center's going to get the play. He's going to read the play from the coach. So for this instance, 3 by 1 left, inside zone. The center will yell out, Raiders, Raiders. That's when you know, okay, so we've got it's an NFL team. We've got a block to the right, inside zone to the right, and that's how we're looking at it. Tailback. Pre-play, you are lining up behind the backside guard. So if we call 3 by 1 left, you are on the left side behind the left guard. 3 by 1 right, you would be behind the right guard on inside zone. Tailbacks. What you're going to do is you're taking 3 steps. You're going to take 1 step towards the quarterback. The second step, you're going to replace where the quarterback's left foot was in this case. And then third step, you're going to square your hips to the line of scrimmage. Tailbacks, our aiming point is the center's butt. That's where I want you guys to aim. We are aiming right at the center's butt. If the center goes to the right, there's going to be a huge hole right up the middle, and that's where we want to run this, guys. The reason we're not coming out and we don't want to take this outside is because these linebackers can then cut under our blocks and make tackles. We want to make it for as easy as possible for our offensive linemen. So if we aim for the center's butt, it sucks these linebackers in and makes them easier to block. That's why we go right behind the center's butt and why we don't flow instead of flowing to the right. So you are looking for a hole. You're going to read the center's butt and you're going to find the hole. The hole is going to be somewhere, I'm telling you right now, the hole is going to be somewhere in here. And if you find the hole and you make 1 cut, and you try and hit the end zone. That is the goal of this play. Quarterbacks, we are reading the backside end. If the end comes upfield or he stays put, we are giving the ball to the tailback. There is only one time when that is not the case. If this end comes in and comes right upfield like he is going to tackle the tailback, that is when our quarterbacks keep it and replace right where that end came from. We are going to run right into the zone. That's why they call this a zone read. We're going to run right into the zone that he was occupying. That way we're going to make him wrong no matter what. He's going to be wrong no matter how he chooses to defend this. All right. So, one more time. Actually, before I get ahead of myself, let's talk about what the receivers are doing. The receivers, the L, the F, the Y, and the R, they are blocking the man over them. So the R has the corner, the L has the corner, the F has the Sam, and the Y has this backer right here. We're all blocking on this one. This is a very simple play, guys. What's great about this play is whether you play tackle, guard, center, the job is the same for every single lineman. You are taking 3 steps to your play side gap. So the right tackle is taking 3 steps to his play side gap, and he's going to block the end. The guard is going to take 3 steps to his play side gap, in this case over here, and going to block the tackle. The center is going to take 3 steps to his play side gap and also block the tackle, then work up to the linebacker. The left guard takes 3 steps to his play side gap. Left tackle takes 3 steps to his play side gap. The reason we give you guys the call is to make it simple for you, and specifically these backside tackles. This can get confusing. The way I want you to think about it is if we call Las Vegas, the new Las Vegas Raiders. If we call Raiders, think I'm going to the right. If we call Las Vegas, that's an inside zone to the left. All right, so let's move on to inside zone left. Okay, moving on to inside zone left. So the call for this play, based off of this formation, would be I would call, let's see, 2 by 2, 2 by 2 right, inside zone. That's how I would call it. So if we have 2 by 2 right, inside zone, this is what we're going to run. The tailback is lined up on the right behind the guard. The center is going to get the play call, so the center is going to see me give the signal, 2 by 2 right, inside zone. So he's going to make an NFL city. So he's going to name any NFL city. We have been doing Las Vegas and Raiders because they start with an L and an R to make it simple for you guys. But as we get into the season, teams are going to start to pick up on that. So we are not going to be able to name this play Las Vegas and Raiders the entire season. So, for instance, if we call my favorite team, if the center calls Denver, that is the same thing. That means the exact same thing as Las Vegas. If he calls Denver, Kansas City, Green Bay, New York, Chicago, whatever you want to call it, that means we're running an inside zone to the left. So the center gets the play call. It's 2 by 2 right, inside zone. So he's going to call Denver, Denver. Our linemen then know, all right, we're running inside zone to the left. And it's the same thing that we do on the right, guys. The tackle has the play side C gap. The play side tackle has the play side C gap. The play side guard has the play side B gap. Center has the A gap. Backside guard has his A gap. And the backside tackle has the B gap. B, A, and C. Again, same thing. This right tackle, he's not going to block this end. That is the quarterback's job. I don't want you doing the quarterback's job. I want you doing your job. So, and we'll bring the play in. We hear a Denver call or a Las Vegas call or a Los Angeles call, however we want to call it. We know what we're doing now. Everyone should know what they're doing. Okay, I'm going left or right. We're running inside zone. So the left tackle, he's now taken 3 steps to his play side gap. And who's there? The end. He is now blocking the end. The guard is taking 3 steps to his play side gap, and he's most likely going to block the tackle. Based off of this defense, this tackle is going to come into the B gap. The center is going to move towards the A gap. He's going to combo block. We're going to aim for that hip. We're going to get our shoulder low, and we're going to aim for that hip because that's what's moving him. That's what will move a big defensive tackle, is hitting him low on his hip. Then he will move. Then, after we've hit his hip, center is moving up, and he's moving up to the linebacker. The right guard, right over here, he is now moving into that play side or backside A gap, and he's going to pick up the nose. Quarterback is still going to account for the end. So if the quarterback's accounting for the end, I don't want the right tackle to block the end. The backside tackle never blocks the end. The backside tackle never blocks the end. So the backside tackle, he's got the B gap. So he moves into that B gap. Who's there? The Mike backer. He takes 3 steps, nobody shows up, goes to the Mike backer. The quarterback is accounting for the end. Tailback, same thing. You're behind the right guard. You're taking your 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. Your hips are square. We are aiming for the center's butt. We're looking for the hole right here. And we do that because, like I said earlier, we're going to aim for right here because we want to suck those linebackers in and make them easier to block. If the tailback, if he tries to bounce this outside, this backer can cut under and make a tackle, and we don't want that. We don't want backers making tackles in the backfield. So what my tailbacks need to do is think A-gaps. That's where they're looking for. A lot of teams will give a numbering system, so I might as well explain that for you guys now. So a numbering system is a system how most man blocking schemes work is they're going to try and open a hole in a specific place. So usually with numbering systems, you would have a 2 hole right here. This would be called the 4. This would be called the 6. This would be called the 1 hole. This would be called the 3 hole. And this would be called the 5 hole. We don't really do that because of the way we call plays, but it's still good for you guys to know. So if we're saying if the tailback comes off onto the sideline and I say, oh, you had the 3 hole wide open on this backside cut, you know what I mean. All right. But, so like we said, this tailback, he's still aiming for this center's butt, and he's going to read these A-gaps. So for this, he's going to look into the A-gaps or the 1 or the 2, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter to me. Quarterback, he's reading the end. If the end stays put or he comes upfield, give the ball to the tailback. I want the tailback to carry the ball. The only time I want the quarterback to pull it on a zone read is if you think this end is going to come around and tackle this tailback in the backfield. That's the only time. And then you are running right to where he was. And I'll tell you what, guys, there's nothing more that will irritate defensive coordinators is seeing you as a quarterback run down the backside of the defense unblocked or unaccounted for. So we'll move on now to our receivers. They're just blocking the man over. We're blocking the man that is covering us. So we got the corner, the R and the L have the corner. The F and the Y have these linebackers. And there you have it, guys. That's it for inside zone. It's a very simple play. The job is the same for every single position on the line. You're blocking your play side gap. And I know tackles, it can get confusing, but what you need to do is just watch this video until you get it, until you have it so ingrained in your mind that you know if I'm the backside tackle, I am not blocking the end. The quarterback has the end. I'm going to get the linebacker. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.